Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go ahead with our money and our counting of money and continue that with writing a check. So this lesson today is I can write a check. All right. What exactly is a check? A check is a document that we see here below, that has a certain money amount tied into it. There's our money amount will be down there, that comes from the bank. Banks are the ones that give you checks. Now, what this check does is it draws into a savings account, or even you could call it a checking account. This is money that you put into the bank, and it's in the bank, and what you do, the bank then gives you these checks. You can write a money amount for any amount that you want as long as you have that amount in the bank. Meaning that if you put, let's just say you put $100 into the bank. You put $100 into the bank, and you write a check for $150, the bank's going to say, sorry, you don't have enough money to do that. You might be asking yourself, why do we use checks? Well, let's go back to that $100 idea. Let's just say I owe Lincoln View $100 for cafeteria, for the food. Or say I want to pay a lot of money for food. Instead of coming up with $100 bills or a big $100 bill, which can get lost or stolen, I can instead bring up a check. And the check works the same as the money, except that let's just say you lose your check but you don't fill it out. There's not a big deal. Nobody's going to be able to create something because, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So the check itself is a lot more secure than regular old cash. So now, let's go ahead and talk about actually writing a check. To start out, I want to take a look at a couple things. First off, here's the address. This is the address normally of the house that you live in or where this is coming from. I thought it'd be fun, since we're at Lincoln View Elementary School, we make our address to Lincoln View Elementary School. Do you need to know that? No, you don't. The next thing you notice, it says pay to the order of. This is who you're going to write out your check to. So let's go back to the $100 idea. Let's just say I wanted to make my out to Lincoln View for the cafeteria. So I'm going to go ahead and pay this check to Lincoln View. All right. So now on that line, I want to print out Lincoln View because that's who I'm going to pay the money to. And then you're going to notice, what I want you to notice over here, if we draw our arrow, if we come over this way, we're going to notice that there's a number right here. This number basically means what check it is. This is check number 1. Then if we come down here to this box, we have a $sign and a box. That means how much money are you going to pay Lincoln View? I'm going to go ahead and pay Lincoln View $100. Okay? Now, make sure that your money amount fits inside that box right there. So now I'm going to come down here to this next line. And in this next line, you're going to notice there's a straight line, and then at the very end there's the word dollars. What we have to do is we actually have to write out the amount that we're going to write out in words, the amount we're going to pay. Another security measure. So I'm going to go ahead and put in word form, 100, because it's 100. Now notice the word dollars is right there. I don't have to put the word dollars right there, but I do have to put the cent amount. Take a look right here. This is saying how many cents we have. Well, we have no cents. So I'm going to go ahead and put the word and since I have no cents, I'm going to put the word no over 100, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw a line right at the dollars. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that is a lot of steps, Mr. Ray. How am I supposed to remember that? I promise you we're going to practice this more tonight, and you'll get this by the end. And now, after you finish that, you come down here to this next line, and it says it's 4. Well, who did we write this out for? What did we write this out for? We wrote this out for food costs. Okay? And finally, this last line right here is the most important line probably because this is your endorsement. This is your signature. Now, I know we haven't covered cursive because it's not required to be taught anymore. If you know how to write your name in cursive, write it in cursive, okay? If not, for now, we're just going to print it. Maybe cursive is one of those things we can work on later, writing your name in cursive. All right, now down here, you're going to notice there are a bunch of numbers down here and a bunch of numbers down there. I don't want you to worry about those numbers right there. Those are something completely different. If you want to know what they are, this is what you call your routing number, and this is your account number. Again, don't need to know that, but just letting you know that's what those numbers are. And of course down here we have our check number. This is what the bank and the businesses use to figure out where your money is coming from. All right, so there's our first one. Let's go ahead and continue on a second one. All right, so let's just say for my second check, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make a check out to, Pizza Hut. And I ended up paying $25.16 for a couple of pizzas. All right, so what we can do is we can write a check for Pizza Hut for $25.16. What I'm going to want to do then is I'm going to come down here to pay to the order of. This one means who are we going to pay it to? So looking at this information up here, who are we paying this to? If you figured out, we are paying this to Pizza Hut. So let's go ahead and write down Pizza Hut for check. This is going to be our second check, Pizza Hut. Okay. Then what we do is we come over here to this box right here, and remember that in this box we put down what is the amount that we're paying. Well, we come over here, we notice that we're paying $25.16. Notice the dollar sign's already there, so I'm going to put $25.16 right in there. So then what I do is I come down to this next line, probably the toughest line of them all. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take $25.16 and write that out in words. So, start out with 20. 5. Now I've done 25. Now notice the word dollars is already there, so I don't have to worry about that. I have 25. Now, the next word we're always going to put is and. Now we're going to look and see what that cents are. We notice that there are 16 cents. 16 over 100 because there are 100 cents and $1. We figured out 116 cents and $100. Then we're going to go ahead and draw our line right there. Now remember, this is for, we're saying this is for lunch because it is pizza. And then of course we need our endorsement, our signature. Hopefully this is coming a little bit clearer to you. Again, if it's not, that's okay. We still can practice. This is still something we can practice on. Let's go ahead and try one more. All right, this last one. Let's go ahead and say that we want to go ahead and write this out to Apex Sports. And we want to go ahead and sign up to play some arena football or some football. And the fees are going to be $50.35. $50.35. And we want to go ahead and write out a check to Apex Sports. Let me double check, make sure I spelled Apex right. I did indeed. Go Mr. A. All right, so I have Apex Sports for $50.35. So I'm going to go ahead and take a step back here. The first thing you need to look at is it says pay to the order of. Who are you going to pay this for? So I want you on this line right here to write down who is going to get paid. Go ahead and take that. If you need to pause this, go ahead. Of course, we're going to pay this to Apex Sports. All right, so that's the first step. Now, we don't have to worry about Apex Sports anymore. We're done with that. So now let's go ahead and think to ourselves, what is the money amount that's going to go in there? I want you to go ahead and put the money amount that's going to go in there. Again, if you need to pause this, go ahead. Of course, this is going to be for $50.35. So now comes the toughest line of all, and we're going to work a little bit on it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and write out the word 50 on this line right here. So go ahead and write out the word 50 on that line. All right, so there's the word 50. Now, remember, we don't have to write down the word dollars. What we do have to write out is the word and. So, let's go ahead and write out that word and right now. 50 and, here comes the toughest part. The next step is we want to look and see how many cents there are. Well, there's 35 cents, so let's go ahead and write 35 up here. Let's put our slash. And what do you think is going to go below here? What do you think is going to go in that little box right there? Go ahead and put down what you think is going to go in that box right there. If you need to pause it, go ahead. If you said 100, you are correct. And of course, we don't want to forget to put something right here. We want to put that arrow pointing all the way to the dollars. All right, so that's the toughest out of everything. Now, we want to go ahead and put what this is for. So go ahead and put down what you think this is going to be for. What are we paying this check for? What's the reason for it? I put down the word sports. You might have something different. You might have football. You might have recreation or having fun or something like that. Just as long as this talks about why you're paying this check. What it is, it serves as a reminder for you. It's like, why did I spend $50 for Apex Sports? Well, it's because I wanted to do some sports. And finally, the last thing you need is your endorsement. All right, and that is how we write checks. Now, what we're going to do tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to go ahead and solve some money problems, and you're going to go ahead and write out some checks while solving these money problems. Thank you for staying tuned to me, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.